Hey everyone, and welcome back. We have been learning the different settings under the Google AI Studio playground. We have already learned how to use the API keys, how to understand the different models, and a lot more other things like tokens. In this lecture, we will talk about one of the very important settings in prompt generation techniques, that is temperature. Now, what is the temperature used for? The temperature is used for sampling during response generation, which occurs when top P and top K are applied. What this temperature does is it controls the degree of randomness in token selection. Lower temperatures are good for prompts that require a more deterministic and less open ended or creative response, while higher temperatures can lead to more diverse or creative results. And if you set the temperature to 0, it is deterministic, means that the highest probability response is always selected, right? So the temperature can either be something like 0, it can be something like 0.75, 1, etc., or it can be the highest up to 2. So for most use cases, try starting with a temperature of zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.5. If the model returns a response that is too generic, too short, or the model gives a fallback response, try increasing the temperature and run the prompt again. Okay, again, let me summarize this to you. What is temperature? It is like deciding how much risk you want the AI to take when choosing the words. A high temperature, that is up to 1 to 2. Here is where the fun begins, right? The AI starts picking words that are less common and more surprising. It is like brainstorming in a room full of ideas where not all are perfect, but all are good. Perfect for creative stories or when you want to be pleasantly surprised, use a higher temperature. Now, if you use a lower temperature, if you're looking for something more focused, consistent, this is your setting, right? The AI sticks to the most common and predictable words. Think of this when you need clarity and accuracy, like writing a report or a code. That's when you can use a lower temperature. Probably in a general prompt setting, you might not be able to even find out the differences between temperatures. But let's quickly have a look. Let's say I currently set up my temperature to 0.25 and I ask, write a short, funny poem on artificial intelligence. Okay, I will copy this prompt and I will run this. So you see the number of tokens are being used, and it has created a short funny poem on AI, which is good, right? It's an interesting one. It knows all the answers, so it pretends but can't tell a joke that actually transcends. I'll say, why did chicken cross the road, then crash with an error, a digital code. So I think it's pretty good. It has given us a good response. But see that the words that are being used are kind of very common. I'll simply clear this chat. What I'll do is I'll now increase this to 2. I will run again. Ta, 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 ta. I'll do create prompt. I will run this and then I will click on run. So it has again given us some uh, poem, but here the temperature is higher. That is, currently it is 1. Okay, because I have started a new session, because so the temperature is 1 and it has given me certain different settings. So probably you'll not find much of difference, but in the background the number of tokens used, the model used, the kind of responses used is totally changed. The model is same, but the randomness is more and the response is different. I will again clear this chart. I will again go to create prompt, enter this, and now I will move this to 2 and click on run. So now it will give me a bit more uh, a poem that has a bit more difficult words, right? If you read it thoroughly, you'll find that it is a bit more complicated. It is not very generic, or it is not very easy to understand. It paused with a where, then declared with great glee. I'll alphabetize spices is Basil for a tea. So you see that even by reading this line, you can understand, okay, the temperature is very high. It is using some really creative words which are not very common, right? And that's what does the temperature does for you, right? This is exactly what temperature is. These are sampling parameters, right? So again, modern AI language models, they generate language in one direction, a token at a time. Now they don't just produce the best token. Instead, the probabilities of all tokens are produced, a large set of thousands. Then it has been found that always choosing the best token doesn't make human like or interesting language. So they are sampled with the chance one is selected being similar to the underlying AI probability. Now the parameters that constrains the output is the temperature. Now so that a long tail of very unlikely words doesn't occasionally corrupt the output, while there is still diversity in token choice during language interference output. So temperature, what it does is it biases the output towards better tokens when it is decreased. That is what temperature does to your responses. And here is how you can change the setting of temperature. I hope this was kind of clear for you. Try your own prompts, try different settings of temperature, and get responses and understand how this small setting affects your outputs. Thank you, and I will see you in another lecture.